recording now.
Right now.
Right now, yeah, we're recording right now.
Okay, it's about time. It's getting late. What time is it right now?
It is 11:39 right now. Yeah, we were messing around with this audio setting for like 2 hours.
It is July 16, 2019, 11:39, and now we're recording on N.Cast.
All right, here we go. Hello, world.
You gonna switch it up now?
Yeah, switch it up now.
You're not doing the good morning,
good morning,
good evening.
Yeah, no, because it's very
tradition. It's like I feel like it's like something they would do like in the 1970s or 60s. Like,
well, not traditional. It's very long-winded,
and and you're just like trying to get over like the morning people, afternoon people, and the night people, whatever they're listening to.
But like it's really long-winded. I like something quick and catchy, like "Hello World."
Hello World. We'll figure it out. It probably won't even be that. It'd be like you'll figure something out.
Or no, we'll come up with something new every episode.
Yeah.
You
always have that option. We're not restricted to anything. So.
Anywho. Welcome to the N.Cast, everyone.
Hello, I'm Prince Etam.
Ooh, you got close to the mic for that one.
Yeah, I had to.
You gotta have your R&B voice.
Yeah, tell the audience who you are.
My name is Brian D. Lifer.
Hey.
I am your host today. And today we're going on a ride.
We're going on a real ride.
But in all seriousness, today we have a special topic. I know it may seem like I say that every episode, but today is an actual real special topic.
One, because it's a topic that is becoming accepted in our generation now. I feel like it hasn't been like addressed as much in the past. Like people are just starting to talk about this topic.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah? All right. So the topic we're going to talk about is men and emotions.
Men and emotions. Ooh, boy. Strap yourselves in.
Yeah.
So...
Because men don't strap themselves in when it comes to emotion.
Ooh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, you saw what I did there.
I saw what you did there.
Yeah. We're usually wild with the emotions, or we try to hide it.
Yep. So, how about you start us off, Prince?
Yeah. So, today on the N.Cast, it's going to be me and Brian, podcast director, going to be discussing men and how we handle our emotions. Men in almost every culture are always taught to suppress and hide their emotions because it's been conditioned in our society as a weak attribute. So, please join us as we talk about emotions, how to handle emotions, and even emotional intelligence.
Ooh.
Intelligence. Then again, I'm not the greatest speaker, but I always try, right, Brian?
Yeah, you're getting there.
I'm getting there.
Yeah, man. You gotta work on your craft.
Yeah. Aren't we all working on the craft?
Yeah, we all have some craft we're working on.
Exactly. So here's the textbook definition that I looked up about emotions. Emotion is a natural instinct state of mind diverting from one's circumstance, mood, relationship with others. And the 6 basic emotions that I found that were like the fundamental version of emotions are 1, happiness, 2, sadness, 3, anger, 4, surprise, 5, disgust, and 6, fear.
What's your favorite?
My favorite, obviously, is because I put it as number 1 too, is happiness.
Yeah, I like happiness too.
But I feel like if you try to go through life just being ignorantly happy, you're just gonna lose. Like I feel like you're not down to earth. Like that's my opinion about it.
Ignorance is bliss, though.
Exactly. That's why I say it like that. But like,
my second favorite emotion is fear. Not fear expressed from me, but I like when people fear me.
You like when people fear you?
I like when people fear me.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Somebody has a little control issue over there. Okay.
We're talking about it all today.
Okay. All right. I would say that happiness, yes, ignorance is bliss, but like it should be the overall goal. I feel like there's like a negative stigma of like smart people who are always like angry and pissed off at the world. And I feel like that's not the case. I feel like they're pissed off because they're still trying to find happiness because materialistic objects.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about specifically like for rich people and like smart people, intelligent people in the world.
Yes.
They're looking for happiness. That's why I always look frustrated because the materialistic things in this world is not satisfying enough.
Mm-hmm. And when you say rich, that's not just money, but also rich in knowledge.
Yeah, rich in knowledge. Both. Yes. I'm talking about both.
Yes.
Obviously, there's a difference, but yes, both of them.
Mm-hmm. So one that actually sticks out to me is disgust.
Why is that, Brian?
What is disgust? Does that mean you did something and you have this feeling that you're not proud of yourself?
I feel like...
Or is it disgust as in you saw something gross and then you feel like throwing up, like I'm disgusted?
That's what I'm thinking. Like it's either disgust in the mouth, like you ate something. Like I specifically cannot eat bananas because when I was younger, I always ate too many bananas and then I'd throw up after. So I guess that traumatized me growing older. So that's why I just take potassium pills. And then there's also disgust and like, say you saw this is a little extreme, but say you saw like a domestic violence attack happen right in front of you. Mm-hmm. One, you're going to be angry, yeah, but you're just disgusted that it's even happening in public.
I'm disgusted in the human race.
Yeah, and the human behavior. Not the race, but you know what I mean? And that behavior, you know? Mm-hmm. So I feel like there's not different, but similar but different definitions to discuss. That's why it's interesting.
So how do we tie this back to men?
Men, men have done some disgusting things in the past, but I mean, it's not just men. I mean, like human race has done disgusting things in the past, and we've also done good things in the past. How this relates? Before I get to that, let me get a baseline of testosterone.
Yes.
Yes.
That's very important.
Exactly. Let me give you that baseline first.
It's the scientific reason why men are men.
Exactly. So, testosterone is a sex hormone that plays a very important role in the male body. It helps us regulate sex drives, bone mass, fat distribution, and more. So, there's the baseline. Now, let's go to why disgust connects with men and emotions. Toxic behavior. And what's the specific word that people like to use with toxic and men behavior? You know, Brian? I'm looking for a specific word. Maybe you can help our listeners out.
There's a few that come to mind. Yeah, men in toxic behavior, a specific word, you say?
I think it's two. It's a 2-word that's like been popping up in the recent years, especially in news and in social media platforms. It's been getting negative views on it. That people have been shining light on the behavior. Do you know exactly what I'm talking about?
I have an idea in mind, but why don't you go and spill the beans?
Oh, I'm going to spill the beans this time. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about toxic masculinity.
Yes.
Yes. Especially, I want to say I started really noticing it like around 2015, 16, when like people started shedding light on the definition and behavior.
That's when I was introduced into the term, but as a concept, I was becoming aware of it. For me, probably when I was in like high school.
Okay.
But yeah, continue.
No, I was just saying, it's probably been around way longer than 2015, 16. Don't get me wrong, but like I feel like news, social media platforms, any other platform has been shedding light on it more and more because it's been progressively being bad in our society.
I think it correlates with the Me Too movement.
I was even trying to get into that, but yes,
it's true. Though.
It is true. You're not. You can't avoid that. Yeah, that's very true.
Yep.
But still, like, did you see that Gillette commercial?
Gillette is known for having like very like testosterone like infused ad campaigns, but which commercial specifically were you talking about?
I can't remember exactly when it came out. I think it came out earlier this year, but it was just highlighting like this cultural norms of the toxic behavior that politics have been highlighting on the
So
news.
they
And
were
they just made like a combination, just put it into a commercial. Like
so
boys,
they addressed it themselves.
no, they just made like not more so addressed it. They just made a combination of like male cultural norms that have been going on for years, and went from like shaving, boys playing rough,
Hmm.
um, all of that, and they're trying to like show a softer side to males and their behavior. Like the one scene I specifically remember is like two boys are playing like roughhouse outside in their
Hmm.
parents' backyard, and then I guess like the mom and dad were talking, and I guess the mom told the dad to go tell the boys to stop playing rough. It's just like showing a voice to stop that type of behavior. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Okay, so they were like it was basically Gillette saying, "Hey,
this behavior is not going to be accepted anymore.
yeah, oh,
Like
okay,
the men have to be the change. The men have to be the voice to step up and change this culture
hmm."
norm.
So let's get into more personal stories here.
Okay.
Let me start by asking you, back when you were young, did you feel aware of that sort of cultural pressure to be as masculine as you can and to reject anything that's feminine?
Let's see.
And if you have like specific examples, that would also be great.
Okay.
I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but
No. I mean, it's a podcast. We're here to talk, so it makes sense. So, as a man who grew up with just his mother, like my father's still living, but we didn't like grow up together. And I have two sisters who I'm really close with, even though I have three, but I'm not close with the oldest one. I was surrounded by or influenced by women, a lot of women, growing up,
okay.
and I didn't really start noticing that until I started playing sports. It's obviously more male dominant. There's more pressures in male sports,
Yeah.
so peer pressure obviously comes into play, and I didn't really notice how toxic it was until I was in college.
Really?
Yeah, like because once you're in it, you're immersed in it. You're not really
Yeah.
thinking about like. First off, I'll say this, and I'm standing by it. Boys from 14 to 19, without any type of guidance or structure, can probably be the dangerous humans on this planet because one, boredom.
Yeah.
Two, you try testosterone, so you're trying to show off
Uncontrollable testosterone.
uncontrollable testosterone.
I remember
At
when I was like 13, 14,
Yeah.
and like that testosterone just started hitting me like a 18-wheeler.
And when I say show off, I'm not saying like just showing off like your new car. I'm talking about like even when they're younger, like showing off like, oh, I bet you I can pick up this rock and
Like you just have like this strong desire just to have constant attention.
Yeah,
and
it's,
like
it's attention
Mhm.
basically, but
Yeah.
it's stupid attention. Like picking up a rock and breaking breaking the Mercedes Benz window.
But at that time, like you don't care if it's dumb attention. Like you just want that attention. You just want the eyes on you.
Yeah,
Like you want
just
to
so your
feel.
voice can be like, oh, he did it. I didn't know he was gonna do it. Like
Yeah,
what?
like you want to feel like the alpha male.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I guess that's a focus point. And that's why I kind of have a problem with this definition of toxic masculinity, just because it just associates with alpha male. It just makes it even more primitive. Like, you know what I mean? Like we're in 2019, and like you're taking us all the way back to like when we were like bipedal Homo erectus.
You know, side note, the term alpha male was coined in, I forgot which book it was, but it was like a book in the 1900s.
Okay.
And I think there's been, because the alpha male comes from how wolves act and how the wolves have a pact.
Exactly.
And that pack has an alpha male, the leader.
Yeah.
But there's been like recent sort of scientific research that seems to suggest that's not actually the case. So it's kind of funny, the term alpha male that's like engraved in our culture is like not an accurate term in like nature.
And another side note, not to take away from like the Me Too movement or whatever they're doing, like obviously there's bad parts to it and good parts to it, and I understand why it exists. I mean, I agree with everything about it, but I've started noticing wolf pack mentality, like a mob mentality when it comes to that type of group, especially going to social events, say like a bar or a dance club, which is smart. Don't get me wrong. Like you want to have friends who can
They
help
call
you
that
out.
they call that the hive.
Yeah,
Hive mind.
yeah. I call it the wolf pack 'cause that's what it looks like to me.
I think the term hive mind works better because when I think of hive mind, you think of like, your hive and you have like the bees, and you know how the bees will
Then
all
there's a
single
queen
in.
bee.
Yes, the bees will single in on a single objective.
Yeah, to get the
Yeah,
honey
yeah.
back to the hive.
Or like when they attack. Um,
It's the same. What I'm saying is it still has the same similarity with the
mhm,
wolf pack. That
mhm,
makes sense. Like they have a leader or like one person who's not drunk, who's a designated driver. They have their mind straight a little bit, and say one of their friends wants to talk to a guy, like she is going to like analyze and evaluate that situation, see if it's safe for her or not. If it's
mhm.
not, she's gonna cock block or like get in the way, or she's gonna like watch from a distance just to make sure her friends stay safe. It's like Mama Bear, you know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Um, so yeah, moving on. There's
well,
another.
before we move on, how about your story? You and me get on the spotlight. You trying to get away from
Oh,
your
I was trying to
story.
run
I
away.
know you were. I know
I
you
was trying to
were.
run away.
Yeah.
Ooh, me.
Yeah, let's take that question back
Um,
on you. Can you remember a time where you were involved with a toxic masculinity situations and you didn't
so
even notice it till you were older or what?
I have an interesting history. I'm
Okay.
similar to you. When I grew up, uh, most of my family, I was surrounded by women.
Yeah.
Specifically, it would be my mother, and she has three sisters.
Yeah.
And I have one first cousin, and she's also a woman. Um, when I would go to my family reunions, it would mostly be women there as well. So, I grew up with a lot of women. I didn't have a sister. I have an older brother,
Yeah.
which I'll get into that later. But in terms of adult figures in my life and people I respect, it's all really women. um,
Shout
so
out to women,
yeah, shout out to the strong women out there.
right?
Um,
Strong women.
mhm.
Yeah, you gotta be specific nowadays.
So yeah, when I came to high school, or even before high school, even middle school, basically the start of that time, where you go to like when you have gym class and you're introduced to the boys' locker room.
Which
Uh,
stink.
it
It's
smells bad. But yeah, boys' locker room is like usually most people's first experience with quote unquote toxic masculinity. Because like it's just you surrounded by boys.
boys.
Like we were just talking earlier about how that age like 13, 14, 15, when like that testosterone really really really
You don't
starts
know how to
kicking in.
handle it. It's
Yeah.
it's like women. They go through their womanhood and all that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know much about it, but obviously they go through their stuff. But in men, we don't have like our body changes with beard, growing taller, but like there's no like internal change that we feel. You know what I mean? So it's just
Mm-hmm.
like testosterone. We're just like, oh, we feel strong. We're in the gym. We're working out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're trying to sculpt our body.
Yeah. So being in locker rooms, uh, it's like you were saying, like boys feel like they need to like prove themselves, and they need to prove that they're strong, prove that that they can get the most girls and all that stuff.
The dominant
Yeah,
figure.
yeah. I definitely felt that, but I mostly kept it to myself. It might have been simply because I just wasn't a talkative person. Um, and yeah, I mean, progressing to high school, I felt that even more so. I didn't play any sports. I actually did stuff like write for the newspaper.
Okay. Which
um,
is not bad. People need information, especially in high school.
I'd like to pat myself on the back for my ability to kind of evade peer pressure, and I think evading peer pressure also allowed me to sort of distance myself from like that toxic masculinity. And yeah, so I feel like I'm kind of a special case in a sense.
So You're saying like you notice it, but you
Yeah,
didn't
like
give
I
in
was
as much.
conscious of it. I think earlier than most. I want to say like early high school is
Okay.
when I realized that hey, like I actually know like what's going on with me and like my friends around me, and I want to do all I can to sort of resist that sort of natural urge. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So I would literally try to go out of my way to like resist those testosterone like testosterone induced urges that guys have.
I guess our cases are a little bit different because like I'm around the same age as your brother,
Mm-hmm.
and like we when we were younger we were all playing football and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like that's just also you're surrounded by your same peers when you're in
Mm-hmm.
football, when you're outside football,
Mm-hmm.
you're waking up seeing them in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
constantly seeing them.
And
So
then
it's a different environment.
yeah, and then revisiting that question I asked you earlier
Mm-hmm.
about was there a specific time you felt like masculinity was pushed upon you? For me, it mostly came from not my father, but my brother. My brother, when we were younger, say like I wanted to do something like say I was like playing video games all day or like watching like cartoons or even like anime on TV. And you a lot of I think every boy has heard this when they're young, but I mean, it's like, "Oh, why are you doing that? That's so gay."
Yes,
That's
the
so that's
the
so gay.
infamous line. That's
Yeah.
so gay.
It's it's one word, but it really gets to you.
It, especially if you're a heterosexual male. Now, just staying it out there. Nothing wrong with being gay, transsexual, whatever. That's your preference. We're in that age now. But as a heterosexual man, when you hear that, it puts your guard up.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? It puts your guard up.
It make
You get
because
real defensive.
for me, it's like it makes you want to really like reject anything that comes across as feminine.
Yeah.
And for some people, I didn't really get this too much at all, but I know some people did. It really makes you question yourself, like, oh, am I gay because I like these things?
Especially at a
Like,
young age.
yeah.
Especially at a young
Hmm.
age.
And so people who I'm not gonna get into that.
I mean, you reword the sentence or okay, that's fine.
All right.
But we can just start it up to go towards the breakup. Want to do that? Like you can finish because it's gonna sound awkward. You just end it and then we go to the
No, like
breakup.
I was gonna like when I said and then blah blah blah. Like I was just gonna cut that out.
All right, but let's at least have like closing sentence to go to the next
Oh, for
subject.
close out
Yeah,
this
because you were
talking
just
point.
talking and stopped. That's what I'm
All
saying.
right. Hmm. Kind of lost my train of thought then.
Your brother calling you gay.
But so with my brother, he would usually be the one that would kind of push upon the whole masculinity ideals onto me. And I'd say it wasn't until like late high school where I finally kind of shook those off
Mm-hmm.
and started to be my own person and not like what other people wanted me to be. And ever since then, it's been pretty eye opening. But I know that a lot of people probably never had that sort of revelation, and it's something that definitely needs to be talked about more and stressed upon it at a younger age.
Um, not to like, we're gonna shift over into a new topic of talking about the breakup, but before we shift into it, I'm giving you another baseline. Uh, Noticing toxic behavior for me at least. Yes, I said college is when I really got in depth and noticing it, but in college I also had to reflect. I reflect why uh, I was given into those peer pressures. What what was I doing wrong? Like what were my choices and decisions back then that made me feel that way? That I had that what's the word I'm looking for? That I was superior to that next person who maybe I taunted with my friends when I know I shouldn't have. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I felt like it was cool and stuff like that. Or how I was treating my girlfriend at the time when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That's something I had to reflect on too. Because I felt like relationships in high school, peer pressure, and toxic masculinity was like a triangle, a toxic triangle, at least for me. And that's what I reflected on when I was in college when I first like really get in depth on the topic of toxic masculinity. So this next topic is more about breakup. And we're gonna talk about our personal
Our personal stories.
story. So I guess I'll start off.
Yeah.
All right. So I had a high school sweetheart, just like everybody else. I'm going to refrain from naming her on this podcast, but I'm not proud. We were in a relationship for like 2 years, give or take. Um, we had good moments. I'm not going to act like it was like terrible and all that. But what I reflected on when I started noticing my toxic masculine behaviors is the certain bad moments where I know it wasn't my own thought process. It's what I was influenced by.
Yeah.
Especially with my peer pressure and my friends and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, that's not going to be acceptable when I'm over 25. Like I was 21 when I was reflecting about all of this. So I was like, that's not going to be acceptable. Like I got to change certain ways.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like I should give a more in-depth story, or is that like a
so I got a question for you.
Okay, go ahead.
Ooh, it almost left my head. How did you handle the breakup?
The breakup itself?
Yes.
Pretty poorly. Like pretty poorly. The problem with the peer pressure is I was projecting my insecurities onto other people. You know what I'm saying? I was hiding behind the peer pressure. I was hiding with trying to look cool, trying to be top dog. And there's consequences to that, right?
Yes.
And that happened to be the breakup.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's other factors too. I went off to college. I was 5 hours away, distance and connection. But like, I feel like that was more the main core why I broke up. I mean, I'm happy whatever happens in the past, but you get what I'm saying? Like, I feel like part of that breakup was my toxic behavior at the time and still growing as a boy to a man.
Boys to men.
You know what I'm saying? So let's put the question on you.
So
unless you have more about the breakup, which I really don't feel like talking about, but it needs to be talked about.
Here. I'll take some of that weight off your shoulders.
Thank you. It's about 150 pounds on my back or more.
So I very recently experienced a breakup. It was actually essentially my first real relationship. I've always had things that went on in the past, but this is the first time, I really committed myself to somebody. And we were together for about half a year. And then, things happen. The directions of our lives kind of changed a bit. And she just felt like it was best that we go our separate ways. And this is like a common way.
Did you cry?
I did cry.
I did cry too. I cried like a baby back bitch. I cried so bad.
I had
all my friends were like, "Bro, we do not care. Why are you crying?" Like,
I had a few tears. I didn't sob, but I had a few tears.
I mean, we all handle it differently, but I felt like it was a compound like effect from my situation. Mm-hmm. Yours, it seemed almost unexpected when you told me at least.
Yeah, it was definitely a little bit out of left field. Not complete.
Mine pent it up, but yours just out the clear.
Yeah.
Out the clear. Like.
So this is actually a pretty common way a lot of adults break up. Just changes in life.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it was a little difficult to kind of like wrap my head around. It was just like, you're so used to having something, you're so used to having. It's hard to explain. I
You got
gave.
accustomed to like the relationship. And,
Yeah,
like,
you
being
have.
together, having that connection.
Yeah, the connection.
Yeah,
That's what it
exactly.
is. The connection, like you giving your heart to somebody, and they basically have that piece of you. So to have them sort of kind of return it / cut it off definitely feels weird.
That shit
you,
hurts. It
yeah,
doesn't feel
it's
weird.
like
It hurts. It hurts bad.
for me, it was like, where do I go from here? So to tie this back to our topic of how men deal with our emotions, something that a lot of guys do that is extremely unhealthy is that men generally do not like to talk about their internal struggles.
Or they'll bottle it up with either alcohol,
Yeah.
other
Mhm.
drugs, just so it can build up that separation and that wall from their emotions.
So generally, and I stress this generally, it's not always the case,
Exactly. We're not speaking for everybody.
Generally, women
man.
are better with dealing with their emotions because they like to talk about their emotions.
And their friends support them.
Yes. Like, girlfriends want you to tell them what's going on.
Which isn't always the best case, but it helps, with the process.
It allows you to unload, you know
Exactly.
what I mean? Unload in a healthy way, not unload via, like, drinking alcohol, like you said, or doing some kind of destructive behavior. Versus men, where talking about your emotions for a lot of guys sounds weak. It makes you weak to talk about your emotions. It makes you vulnerable. Because men, we're supposed to be strong. We're supposed to be stone walls. Like, that's not supposed to get to us. Like, oh, our girlfriend broke up with us.
Actually, we're supposed to be human. I'm gonna have to correct you on that. We're supposed to be human. We're supposed to go through our emotions. We were just conditioned, at least in America, in our society, or that you're supposed to be strong. It has a very military type concept behind it. Like, you're supposed to be like the soldier, like the stand proud.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, we're not supposed to, it's like, oh, I can't believe she did that to me. Yeah. Oh, she hurt me so bad.
The victim mentality will never work in a man's favor. Let's just say that.
And that can be kind of a shame because a lot of times, we really are the victims sometimes.
Let me give you an example. I just heard this like a couple hours ago. Common, the rapper, Common.
Yes.
He got sexually abused when he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I only saw like a couple articles write about it. Mm-hmm. And apparently during that video, he like breakdanced after. I don't know if that was a marketing move or not, but like he mentioned that as a man, like coming out towards it, and nobody really gave like any attention towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, say if that was a woman with the script, it'd been probably more attention.
Yeah.
And more attention, more legal actions going towards it, especially depending on how far it happened. Obviously, that happened when he's a kid, but still, like, that's one of the reasons why like men tend to not like express themselves. I guess he was in a good place to express himself, so I'm not taking away from that, but still.
And that leads me to, my other like idea is that generally men take the breakups harder.
I can't speak for all men when saying that. Like, I get what you're saying. Like, I took the breakup hard. You took the breakup hard, but like other men, they take it differently. Some bottle it up, they take it inside, and then they'll get over the next day. Go make love to another chick or something like that. I don't know.
But I feel like that's just their way of coping. But like internally, they're just like, damn, I'm still not quite over that.
Yeah.
I remember one time, years ago, when Mac Miller dropped his album. That was a good album too. What was it called? Watching movies with the sound off. And he had this one track with Tyler, the Creator. And it's like this upbeat, like get a Mac. Like, it was like this upbeat song, right?
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, he ends the track, going a cappella. And his last line is like, still can't get over my bitch. And it's just like, damn, like that hit me because it's like,
R.I.P.
yo,
Mac
like,
Miller.
yeah, R.I.P. Mac Miller, man, incredible rapper. But it hit me because you, like I said, you have like this really upbeat song, you know, that you would like crank to with your boys, but he ends it off with like, yo, like, I'm still hurt on the inside.
And I'm really gonna touch lightly on the subject because how he went out and then Ariana and all that stuff goes.
Mm-hmm.
It just like we all know the story. I'm not gonna just talk bad about the dead. I want him to stay in peace, but it just shows like there's a compounding effect. You know what I mean? Like he was hiding his emotions between the rap, and there's videos of him drinking a lot of lean, doing a lot of acid, doing a lot of drugs. You know, even with Ariana and after Ariana, like it just shows that like we use other objects like alcohol or toxic objects to avoid those emotions.
So I think that's actually a good segue into our last talking point, and that's emotional intelligence.
You want to give the definition of emotional intelligence?
You seem to be on a roll, so I'll let you handle it.
I try to get him out of his pocket, but he's gonna stay in his bag. I got you. So basically, emotional intelligence is the capacity to be aware of, control, and express one's emotion, and to handle interpersonal relationships empathetically and judicially. So there's also 4 components to emotional intelligence.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. I'll go over the components, and then we'll go over which is our favorite, and then go more in depth. So the 4 components are self-awareness, self-management, social management, and relationship management.
Okay, 3 managements.
Yeah, right. Like only one's different than self-awareness, which is my favorite.
You said self-awareness.
Yeah, self-awareness is my favorite.
How so?
As we grow older, like obviously we're paying attention, being in the moment. Sometimes you're not, but like your subconscious is doing so much. Like for example, when you wake up in the morning, go for work, it's not like you have to like read instructions how to start a car. Like you just automatically do it. That's your subconscious, like just over muscle memory over time, just doing that.
Okay.
So it's just doing so much in the background. But like sometimes because it's doing so much in the background, a lot of people aren't aware of what they're doing.
Okay.
And when they're not aware of what they're doing, they make impulsive decisions. I'm talking about men and women, even though it's just about men and emotions, but still impulsive decision making, just bad investments, bad anything, just because you're taking so much in and not clearing the bad out, not trying to find a balance.
Okay.
So I think self-awareness really relates to finding a balance in your own life, in your own journey in life.
So for me, looking at all 4 of these, this is a cop-out. I like all of them.
No.
I think they're all equal.
I need one specific.
I think they're all equally important.
They are. I'm not taking just because I like self-awareness doesn't mean that they're not all equally important.
But I feel like I just can't single one out as particular.
You gotta be decisive, Brian.
It's like, oh yeah, self-management is real important. Oh wait, but social management is. Like relationships.
All right. Let me rephrase the question. What's the most interesting component that you find?
Interesting.
Yes.
I'd probably say a relationship management.
Why is that?
Because that's basically like the 1v1 management, correct? Like your relationship with another person.
Like the rapport, like what would you build up with them? Like having like point of contact, reference, connection with them.
Yeah, the connection. That's our keyword today, connection.
The connection.
Relationship management. Going off of just like kind of context clues we have here, like managing how you interact with, say, like your family members, your friends, your significant other,
which is constantly changing.
Yeah.
Like, go ahead.
No,
I was just gonna say, like, say you've known somebody. Let's go from a school setting, say high school, college, or from an old job. Say you leave that environment, like you're done with that environment. Your relationship was when you were in that environment with them, at least in my mindset. once I'm outside that environment and like it's years down the road and I meet up back with them, I feel like I'm meeting a new person. Like, yes, I know their name. I may even know their address because I've been to their house a couple times. But like we've been through so much life experience. It's like we gotta rekindle that relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's why like every time I see somebody I knew from the past, I've seen in a long time, I want to get down to like, oh, what have you been doing for the past couple of years?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen you. Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm. A lot of people like to call it small talk, but honestly, like small talk is really important if you're like.
It depends. It depends. Like it's situational when it's good or bad. You know what I mean? Like if you're talking to a girl you just met at the bar, like small talk's not the greatest point. Like you want to wow her, you want to compel her. You don't want to bore her with like a mediocre questions.
Is that your masculinity talking?
I'm just saying you don't. You don't. Like I literally would try to small talk a girl at a bar one time, and she was like, "I hate small talk." I was just like,
"Yeah, so do I."
Yeah, I do too, but I don't know you, so these are questions I need to ask.
Yeah. What was your favorite episode of Stranger Things?
That's like when you're in depth in the conversation. That's not like the first pop-up question. Oh yeah, what's your favorite episode of Stranger Things? Like, nah.
Can you give me some recommendations on Netflix?
Yeah, come on. Matter of fact, just come over.
Oh God!
Come look at my Netflix account.
That's enough. That's enough. Your mic's getting cut off. Actually, no. We have one mic.
We have one mic, so that means your mic's getting cut off too.
See, we were experimenting with a 2-mic setup before recording this, and it took me 2 hours, and I couldn't get it to work.
Which doesn't mean that we're not going to keep trying. Which
yeah, of course.
We're remodeling our setup. We're going to actually start recording in my basement because it's just a better setup for recording and production.
It's cooler down there too.
Yeah, literally, it is literally cooler down there too. So that's going to happen within a couple of weeks. So if you see like a progression in our sound quality, that's why.
Yeah. So, hopefully that comes sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
It's a process. Not that we sound terrible here. At least I don't think we sound terrible.
We can always sound better.
Yeah.
Always sound better.
We can also get some new chairs too.
More comfortable chairs would be nice.
More comfortable chairs. Yeah. Less squeaky chairs.
Exactly.
But I digress. So yeah, I guess we should be signing off now.
Yeah. We should sign off. I'd rather us close in a better way than yeah. Which we're like I said in the first episode, we're constantly trying to get better in our podcast. We appreciate those who've just kept up with our podcast from episode 1 to what episode we're now? 6.
We're six episodes deep.
Exactly. And
6 is my favorite number.
I wonder why. I wonder why, Ryan.
3 and 6 are my favorite numbers. No, I'm just kidding.
No, Ryan. He's trying to give you little clues for our next episode ideas.
Possibly.
So hopefully we won't get stripped off platforms because of the topic, but we're trying to organize it. Still trying to organize the next episode.
But right now it's 12:22 a.m.
Yeah. So that means that we're gonna wrap things up. I'll start off by saying I'm Prince EAO, founder and CEO of Nigma, and my Instagram account is p._Nigma, Nigma, all lowercase. And then my Twitter account is Nigma_RM. The only underscore again. The only thing that are capital is Nigma. The N in Enigma, and then the RM. They're both capital. If you put in a search bar, they'll probably find it for you. I have a nice profile pic, so hopefully I'll pop up as like a first one.
That's debatable.
Oh. Hate over here.
But yeah, I'm Brian Leifer. Twitter handle is Brian D. Leifer. That's BrianDleifer. And my Instagram is Bumblebee Brian. That's BUMBLEBEE_BRIAN. And I got some cool stuff on there. If you follow my Twitter, you can also get updates on my personal blog. I post some stuff up in there occasionally. Some interesting reads. You should give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm always promoting on my Twitter handle.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere from anything on my merch site, from Enigma packs to N.Cast, blogs just introducing N.Cast. So you'll be informed on both our Twitter handlers. Before we go, I do want to mention I like our intro and outro song.
Yeah, it's nice.
If you listen to the words, like it kind of like describes. It just landed perfectly. Like it kind of describes like what are we talking about? We're just talking about life. Like I don't know if you actually listen to the lyrics, or just listen to the lyrics and then listen to the podcast. And you're like, oh, it kind of makes sense.
I think whenever I would edit it, I would zone out.
Yeah.
I would get lost in the audio editing. And sometimes I forget like what I'm actually editing. But I digress.
Okay, but until next time, listeners, we are out.